living things, plants and animals, plant adaptations. Learning more about living things through plants and animals. Learning about plant adaptations. We've already learned about living things in our previous section, and we discovered that both plants and animals are living things, right? True. That it's difficult to see all the living characteristics in plants, but let's learn a bit more. The basic difference between plants and animals is in the way they feed or eat. Plants prepare their own food, taking raw materials like water and carbon dioxide from the soil and air. Animals cannot make their own food. They go out in search of it. Animals have to feed on ready-made food prepared by plants, or they feed on other animals. So, since animals need to search for food, they have organs for movements such as legs and wings, and this along with their sense organs like the eyes and nose, they search out. Some of us were thinking that we are so much more superior to plants, right? Well, plants are real useful and important. So, we've learned that we can divide things into two main groups, plants and animals. What is common in all these pictures? That's right, all the animals are dependent on plants for everyday life. Did you know that all living things are made of tiny units called cells? These cells are made of a jelly substance called protoplasm. Plant cells and animal cells are kind of different from each other, but we're going to find out about that some other time. Hey, did you know our bodies too are made up of different kinds of cells? You are really silly, you know? You've just come back from your holidays. Some of you may have gone visiting to maybe another city or to the beach or just sightseeing. We may have gone by train or road. Did you notice that the surroundings keep changing around us? We may have plain lands where we live, or we might have the sea near where we live. Some of us live in places where it does not rain that much. Some of us may be living in mountainous and hilly areas. Every area has plants, and these plants have adjusted to the kind of conditions they grow in. This is known as adaptation. So, what's adaptation? The development of characteristics which help an organism to survive in a particular environment is called adaptation. Not clear? Let's look at some adaptations in plants to help us understand. Some plants grow in water. The water hyacinth has swellings on their leaf stalks that are filled with air. This makes the plant light and keeps them afloat. Some plants are so light and small that they float in the water, like duckweed. Some plants are fixed in the soil of the pond. The lotus roots are fixed in the soil at the bottom of the pond. Its leaves float on the water's surface. Some plants like Hydrilla or Vallisneria, as shown in our visual, remain immersed in water. They are fixed to the bottom of the pond with the help of their roots, and their stems and leaves are ribbon-like to offer little resistance to water currents. They do not have stomata, and so these plants breathe with the help of gases dissolved in the water. Everywhere you look around, there are plants to be found. You can find them in cold, snowy hilltops and in dry deserts, in wet, marshy places, and, of course, you can find them in your backyard too. Plants that grow in different surroundings have different adaptations. Let's see a few. If you visited Kashmir or Shimla, you see large trees on the hillsides. These trees are pine trees, and they have needle-like leaves. And instead of flowers, they bear cones, which are really beautiful to look at. Trees such as the cedar would be found in higher growing regions. The needle-like leaves prevent the snow from staying on the plant. Rajasthan is the place where we have the great Indian desert we call as the Thar Desert. Deserts are hot and dry, and there's very little water to be found. Since plants in the desert cannot afford to lose water through their leaves are reduced to spines. The stems of desert plants are thick and fleshy, and they manufacture food. Desert plants store water in their thick stems, like the cactus plant we have in our visual. Coconut and rubber are some plants which grow near sea coasts. Some areas near the sea coast are marshy and soil is clay-like. These clay-like soils do not have enough air for the roots of the plants. So, plants that grow in these regions have special roots called respiratory roots or breathing roots, which help them collect oxygen. Summary: we've learned a lot more about living things through plants and animals, and we've learned about plant adaptations. Keep adapting and have fun. See you soon.